Hello, friends. Welcome to SSNAIR podcast, SSNAIR Voices. We are going to listen to episode number 5. Now, I will tell you the 5 important techniques of learning English language in 1 week. Now, it seems not improper or practical, feasible that it would work out. But you see, these are the techniques that should be adopted sincerely. So watch till the end. Of course, 1 week is much ambitious goal to develop fluency, which requires years of practice. But focusing on the highly impact evidence-based technique that I'm telling you now in this video, you will see a noticeable progress in the end, because the techniques like conversation skills, enhancing vocabulary or grammar will help you a lot. The following techniques is designed for intensive learning, assuming that you can dedicate 4 to 8 hours daily and have a beginner to intermediate level of English. Each method is grounded in the language acquisition principle, emphasizing practical and immersive strategies. So watch till the end, and I'm not going to tell you the 5 techniques at one go. So one by one, because each and every one is important in sequence as it proceeds. The first one is immersion technique. It involves engaging in English authentic contexts. Immersion, that is through media or conversation, we have to mimic the native speakers and use the English language as research as a second language, which acquisition of highlights and emotions accelerates comprehension by exposing learners to natural speech patterns, vocabulary, and cultural nuances. So this immersion technique, this method is particularly effective for improving listening, the contextual understanding in a short time frame. And now why it's important, how to implement this implementation. Spend 2 to 3 hours daily watching English media, such as TV shows, for instance, Friends, The Office, for clear dialogue, or movies, or watch YouTube videos. Begin with subtitles in your native language to grasp the meaning, and then transition to English subtitles in the midweek, then to focus on vocabulary and attempt watching without subtitles by the end of the week to test your comprehension. Second, listen to podcasts or audiobooks in English during downtime time. What is downtime is, that is while you are commuting or exercising. Listen to podcast English. Choose beginner to advanced. English speaking, speak by BBC, learn English, and so on. Change your phone or apps and the social media to English setting to increase exposure to written language, to written English. Then aim for 20 to 30 hours for total exposure over the week, because quantity drives familiarity with the pronunciation, intonation, and common phrases. The more you practice, the more you listen, the more active you become. Now, how this immersion technique works. Immersion builds implicit knowledge by helping you internalize language patterns without conscious memorization. It exposes you to a real world usage, including slang and idiomatic expressions, which are critical for conversation fluency. Now, studies suggest that extensive input, that is listening and reading, that improves your comprehension faster than traditional study alone. The two in that, listening and reading, the two input should be worked out, and so that is the immersion technique. Now tips, how to improve it. Choose engaging content to maintain motivation. Repeat key scenes or episodes to reinforce understanding. Then, not unfamiliar words for better vocabulary study. These are the tips how to unlock. Now the second study technique is vocabulary acquisition. Vocabulary is the foundation of communication and focuses on high frequency words. Excessive maximizes practical results. Research indicates that 1000 most common English words cover about 85% of everyday conversations, making them a high priority target for rapid learning. So you should enhance your vocabulary. Watch advanced vocabulary in shorts in my YouTube channel also. How to implement? Use apps like Anki or Quizlet to learn 100 to 150 words daily. Then you can memorize 7 to 1,000 words at the weekend. Oxford 3000 or general service list. Use this to prioritize common words. Study words in context, that is, full sentences like I need to buy groceries, rather than isolation to understand the usage. Group words by themes, that is, the food, conversation practice by travel, topic is travel, then topic is emotion, to make them easier to recall in relevant situations. Practice with spaced repetition, that is, review your words at increasing intervals. For instance, 1 hour after Monday or after 3 days to cement your retention power. How it works? High frequency words, it is the basic communication in common scenarios. Example, your greetings, shopping, at travel, and so on. Spaced repetitions, it leverages the forgetting curve and encourages or ensures that long-term retention is maintained even in a short period. Contextual learning improves recall by linking words to real-life situation. Tips. Prioritize verbs, nouns, and adjectives over less critical words like adverbs. Use mnemonic devices. Example, associating big with a large object to aid your memory. Visualize the words with any scenario. Test your writing or speaking skills in sentences, your new words daily. Third technique, active speaking practice. Now, speaking is practical or critical for fluency and confidence, as it requires active recall and real-time application of vocabulary and grammar. Language acquisition theories emphasize that productive skills like speaking and writing, they reinforce comprehension and build communicative competence. How to implement? Schedule 30 to 60 minutes, that is half an hour to 1 hour of minutes of daily conversation with native speakers or learners via platforms like italki, Random, or HelloTalk. There are many platforms, apps available. Aim for 5 to 7 hours total over the week, that is 1 hour daily. Focus on common scenarios, example, introducing yourself, ordering food, asking for direction, and so on, to practice functional language. Join online language courses, exchange group courses, exchange group media, social media, or local meetups if available. Use simple, incorporating gradually new vocabulary and grammar. First, use simple sentences. Why it works? Speaking forces you to retrieve and apply knowledge, strengthening neural connections. So, interactions with others provide immediate feedback on pronunciation and clarity. Regular practice reduces anxiety and builds confidence for real world use. Now, tips. Prepare key phrases in advance to feel prepared. Ask partners to correct errors gently to improve your accuracy. Record conversation, of course with permission, to review your performance. The fourth technique of learning English within a week, structured learning with apps. Language apps easily available in the market in different mobile apps. Lessons should be systematically built in there, and grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Now they can incorporate evidence-based techniques like spaced repetition and gamification, which enhance motivation and retention, especially for short-term goals. Implementation. How you will implement this technique? Dedicate 1 to 2 hours daily to apps like Duolingo, Babbel, or Memrise. Of course, there is no promotion. I'm not promoting anything. Completing lessons on basic grammar, it will help you present tense, articles, and vocabulary. Focus on beginner to intermediate courses depending on your level. To cover essential like sentences, structure, and questions formation. Supplement with free resources like BBC's Learning English or English Class 101 for targeted lessons. Track progress within the app to stay motivated and identify the weak areas. Now, why it works? Why it works? Why this technique works? Apps break learning language into manageable chunks, ideal for 1 week sprint. Gamification, for example, tricks and rewards. That encourages consistent effort. Structured lessons ensure balanced coverage of skills, unlike unstructured study. Tips: how to improve the structured learning. Set daily goals. Example: 10 lessons daily to maintain discipline. Review apps feedback to focus on weak areas like verb conjugation. Combine app lessons with practical application. Example: use learn phrases in speaking practice. Now, fifth and the last technique to speak English within 1 week: feedback and self assessment. Regular feedback is essential to identify errors and measure progress, ensuring efficient use of the week. Self assessment and external corrections by others help refine pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary usage. Implementation: how you implement this. Record yourself speaking daily, that is, introducing yourself or describing your day. Record it and check it out. And compare with the native speaker examples from YouTube's or podcasts. Write short paragraphs, 50 to 100 words, and use tools like Grammarly to check grammar and style. First write and then check by Grammarly. You'll improve a lot. Seek feedback from language partners or tutors during speaking sessions. Keep a daily log of errors. Example: mispronounced words that you did, the grammar mistakes that you did, to focus study efforts. That mistake should not be repeated. Now, why this technique works? Feedback. Feedback highlights specific areas for improvement, maximizing efficiency. Self-recording increases awareness of pronunciation and fluency issues. Tracking progress builds motivation by showing tangible gains. Tips: focus on one or two error types daily. Daily, you should improve your two error. Example: verb tense, word stress. Use native speaker models to mimic accurate pronunciation. Review the week's progress on day 7 to plan next steps. Now, as given here, what you have to do is watch English TV show or movies with subtitles for 1 hour. Then this is for immersive exposure. Second, 1 hour flashcard study, 100 to 150 words daily vocabulary. This is for vocabulary acquisition. 1 hour daily language app lessons. That is 10 to 15 lessons you have to study daily for structured learning. 1 hour speaking practice with partner. That is active speaking. 1 hour listen to podcast or audiobook. This is for immersive exposure. Listening input. 1 hour record speaking. Write paragraph. Review feedback. This is for feedback or self-assessment. So if you follow these 6 hours daily and make the schedule, then within 1 week you will learn. The expected outcomes. By following these techniques, a beginner could learn to understand basic conversation and media with familiar vocabulary. Be able to speak confidently in simple scenarios, example greetings, ordering food, and so on. Use 700 to thousands high frequency words and basic grammar, example present tense, and so on. Intermediate learner could improve fluency in conversation with reduced hesitation. He can expand his vocabulary to include more complex phrases. He can refine his pronunciation and grammar accuracy. The limitations of this technique. 1 week, if you follow this technique, limitation, there are some constraint, time constraint. The weekly limit progress to basic or intermediate gains, not fluency. The individual variation. Results depend on prior knowledge, learning style, and effort. How much you are able to put your efforts. Sustainability. Intensive learning requires follow-up to maintain gains. How you follow this technique? Recommendation for continuation. To sustain progress beyond the week. Now, if you want to be a good learner, then continue daily immersion and speaking practice. Expand your vocabulary to 2,000 to 3,000 words over months. Join language classes or communities for long-term support, and especially both this channel, English with Nair. Thank you.